Welcome back to Jenny's World, keeping it fresh, keeping it real and keeping it middle-aged. Now don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and also subscribe to my YouTube channel, Jenny's World. And if you have time, take a look at my website, there's some good things on there. All the details are down below for you. Now today I want to talk about keeping your kids and also yourself sane while we're in lockdown. So for myself, as I said, the kids, we try and make sure that they get at least 3 hours a day of homeschooling, whether it's maths, English, science, reading, anything that we can do to keep them entertained. Now, we're not as fortunate as some people out there whose schools have made sure that they have lessons that they can log into every day and follow along, get feedback from the teachers. We were just sent like a little booklet for the 9-year-old and nothing for the 6-year-old. So we're doing our own thing. And we try and make sure that we do it in the morning. As I said, they're more motivated, more engaged, and their attention definitely drops off after about 3 hours of work. So what else can you do outside of the school period to keep them entertained and keep them going? Well, one of the things that my youngest, Leah, likes to do, she likes cooking. Whenever anybody's in the kitchen, it's like, can I help, can I help? So we started to try and make sure that 2 or 3 times a week she gets to cook. So, for example, she made a fruit cake last week, that she did it herself. I just got all the ingredients out, helped with that bit of stirring with the butter and the sugar to get that broken down. But basically everything else she did herself, and she loved it. I mean, it took about an hour and a half. She was in the kitchen when it went into the oven. She kept looking at it, put the timer on it. And of course, she was the first to taste it when it came out. And obviously her sister, Alishani, she loved it. But she's not so much into the cooking. Now, Alishani's 9, and she's, I think, going to be one of those typical teenagers when she gets there. She has her notebook and she's literally on it all day watching, either doing Roblox, TikTok or YouTube or whatever else they do on there, but she's literally on it all the time. Now obviously her sister's 6, Aaliyah, she's younger, she wants to play with her, and Alishani's just bored saying, no, I don't want to play. And so we have to do a bit of enticing there, a little bit of bribery to get them to play, and sometimes they do. But we've got to think of other ways to keep them entertained, especially as they're quite the 3-year age gap, and it does happen. It does really matter to them, and they're on different cycles, so they don't always want to do the same things. So we try and make sure they do some exercises. We are very fortunate, as I mentioned. We have a garden, so they're out there running around on the swing and just generally playing. They have their dog, Bam Bam. Whether he's chasing them or they're chasing him, there's a lot of fun for them. So again, that keeps them fit and active. We also do some exercises with them. They've got their gym mat where they can just do whatever it is, star jumps, roly-polies, etc. Just things just to kind of like keep them going. And then they generally then just play with their toys. But again, this gets boring. As I said, the 6-year-old, she loves doing things like that. 9-year-old, not so much. So again, it's just trying to find ways of making them active. So we've done it through little surprises where they have to solve riddles to get a little bit of a small gift, and we've kind of like done that. It's a bit like the Easter egg hunt, and there's something around for them. Sometimes we've just basically just repurposed one of their toys that they've not used for a while, wrapped up in a bit of newspaper and let them go and find it. But these are things which sometimes are fun and sometimes takes a bit to do, but you can't keep doing it forever because they will get bored. So it's talking to them to see, what do you want to do today? What can we do differently? So as I said, we're lucky we have a garden, so they're out there quite a bit. Not as much as I'd expected, especially given the nice weather. But I think that once we take away their notebooks and don't let them use the phone so often, they'll soon start going out and then get their bikes out there. But what do you do if you don't have a garden, if you don't have that ability to let your kids get out? As we know, restrictions are being borne down for us to be restricted and going out. So it used to be you could go with your family and go out, but now it's like you can't even go out like that, only one person at any time. So what happens if you're living in a flat and you have no access to a garden? It makes it very difficult. It's been a very, very, very long time since I lived in a flat. And again, at that point, you could come and go as you please. So I know that there are so many constraints from that situation. So all you can really do is kind of like keep them engaged inside the house. I know there's lots of talk about the Joe Wick videos in terms of the exercise, and they are from little kids all the way up to the older grandparents to watch, and that is something that you could do with them. And so it's about being imaginative. It's about seeing what have you got around the house that you can get them involved with. I mentioned cooking. That's a nice easy one, whether you're just making jelly or trying to make a cake, or getting them to help with your lunchtime meal or dinner. I mean, I had Lee in the kitchen and she was peeling potatoes and she loved it. Not so much when it came to actually cut them up, because she can't do that, but it's really about trying to get them involved in the simplest of things. One of the things I have noticed though, they've been confined to the house and it feels as though this is week 3 and they're not getting any tidier. They still leave their toys around. They still leave all their sweet wrappers away. You're constantly having to battle. So how do you turn that into a game? If somebody can give me the answer to that, I will be thankful, because they are really messy kids. So as I said, it's really about trying to keep them motivated. If you've got your PlayStation, your Nintendo, your Wii, whatever it is you've got that you can get involved with as well, because it's not about just keeping your kids sane, it's also about keeping yourself sane. As adults, we have never been in this situation where we are confined to our house. So it's new for us, and we have to find ways of keeping ourselves motivated. There's only so many times you can tidy up your front room or tidy up the bedroom or do the washing. And I'm sure that, I love reading and I have hundreds of books. Unfortunately, I think I've read them all at least twice already. We do have Sky, as I'm sure most people have Sky or Netflix or whatever program you have, but eventually you're going to run out of TV shows, you're going to run out of movies, and you're going to get bored watching the old programs that keep coming back. For example, how many times can you rerun Friends? I swear we're kind of like just on this constant, as soon as the whole series ends, it comes back again. I know there's some programs out there that perhaps the younger generation haven't seen, so there are going to be ways to keep yourself occupied. But one of the things I would just say is just don't forget about your mental health, your mental state. Some people's it was already fragile before we got here, and now that we're in this state of quarantine, unable to leave the house, lockdown, whatever you want to call it, it's going to have a bigger impact on those who perhaps have mental health issues. So it's really important that you're able to, where you can, to keep in touch with your friends, your family, any relative via phone or Skype, because again, daily conversations help them, gives you that glimpse into their world. They can see what's going on with you. And again, it keeps you connected, and it's so important at this time that we are connected, that we keep an eye on everybody out there. And again, if you're able to engage in those conversations, it keeps your brain ticking over and it stops you from thinking about what's going on from a negative way, because that's the thing about social media and the news. Is as much as it's a goldmine of information, you then do hear about a lot of negativity and so a lot of depressing facts. And whether you're a young person or an older person, to be bombarded with that information day after day through different images, different news outlets, WhatsApp to your Instagram to your Twitter, even YouTube videos, it can get a bit depressing, just be reminded about death, and especially if you've got elderly parents or relatives, and it makes you more anxious about them. So again, a lot of negativity does eventually impact your mental health and well-being, because that's all you're going to be thinking about when you're surrounded by it. So try not to always read those news outlets or watch all of those messages going. To give yourself a break, whether you take a day out from not listening to any news, any social media, not doing any WhatsApp conversation, but just engaging with your friends, family, and just having a nice fun day where you can. We all know it's stressful, we all know we're in this situation that we've never before been into, but we will get through this, and we want to make sure that everybody comes out sane on the other side. So whether it's your kids, they drive you mad, but we all love them. And again, it's about keeping them maintained, keeping them happy and motivated, because if they're happy, you're going to be happy. And if you can keep yourself going, give them activities, fun things to do around the house. I challenge anyone to see if they can get their kids to keep their bedrooms tidy. And if you can do, tell me what your secret is. We have to stand over our two to get them to tidy their bedroom, and we end up doing half of it ourselves. So we're going to try and find a way to turn that around and get them to be tidy for once. So whatever it is you're doing, whatever ideas and hints and tips you can come up with, please share them. And one of the things which I'm going to say before I sign off is slime. I don't personally love it, but the girls actually do. And luckily enough, we're able to get quite a bit of it for them, so they can make it themselves and play with it. And that seems to keep them entertained. So if you're able to find the right ingredients to make slime with your kids, that is one way to keep them occupied. And it's something they can do again and again and keep using as long as they get it right. So everyday household items sometimes are things that you can use to generate fun and entertainment. Especially from an exercise point of view. Anybody who's got a hula hoop, and remember those old days when it's the most popular thing to do, nice, cheap, and it's easy and it's fun. So wherever you are, there are some things that you can do to keep yourself motivated, and exercise is one of them. So let's hope that you're able to keep going, keep sane, and keep yourself healthy. So thanks for watching, and don't forget, keeping it fresh, keeping it real, and definitely keeping it middle-aged over here.